Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to McHenry County College's commencement ceremony. At this time, please silence your cell phones. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of colors and the national anthem.
Good morning. Please be seated. I am Clint Gabbard, president of McHenry County College. Welcome to all our guests, families, and friends in attendance for the McHenry County College Spring 2019 Commencement Ceremony. And graduates, welcome to your 2019 MCC Commencement. We are so very, very glad to have you seated here this morning. Today it seems is about the now and the next. Right now, what can we say? You did it. You did it. You beat some odds, you followed your path, your plan, or a series of backup plans to sit here today. You even worked harder than you imagined you were going to have to. For those of you who will be the first in your family to receive a college degree of any kind, know this: you have altered your family tree forever. There is a new branch growing at a new angle that will continue to grow stronger and wider and longer as you pass this accomplishment on to your children, and they'll pass it on to their children's children. For those of you who have always been expected to receive a college degree, take credit for how you did this, what you had to do specifically to get to this point. Leonardo da Vinci, that left-handed, self-taught, illegitimate one who changed our world forever with his unstoppable imagination, said this: "Once you taste flight, you will forever walk the earth with your eyes turned skyward. For there you have been, and there you will always long to return." We here at MCC are so bold as to believe that we, which is the community of professors and staff and administrators, we've assisted you in some way in taking flight, and that your gaze is going to be looking up from now on. Right now, then, we pause and celebrate what you've done and what you get to take with you. Some confidence, some hope, a little inspiration, some knowledge, and even more importantly, the tools to keep on learning. These are things that people who come back years and years later tell us we gave them. Something we did left a mark on them. But be very clear, you've left your mark on us too. You've stoked and rekindled our sense of mission, a reminder of why we do this. As we turn to what comes next, frankly, we're looking for a little payback. We need you to go out and make our world better. We need you, first of all, to stand, square your shoulders, look our community in the eye, and declare to anybody that will listen that learning and knowledge are not just good things, they are essential things. Essential. And second of all, we need you to be problem solvers. We need you to be fixers for us. We need you to fix our cars, our bodies, our parents who are recovering from strokes. We need you to fix our spirits when they need to be lifted by your poems and paintings. I am telling you, asking you, even imploring you, we need you in our day-to-day lives, in our communities, if we are to have the future we hope and dream of. Now, go ahead and enjoy this moment and remind yourself of the grit that it took for you to be sitting here this morning. And don't be thrown off by the anxiousness that can accompany the what next. You can do it. We encouraged you and challenged you because we knew all along that you can do it. So you're ready for what's next. All right? Go get them. At this time, I'd like to introduce those individuals who have been entrusted to award your degrees this morning, the MCC Board of Trustees. Chair Mike Smith, Chair Molly Walsh, Chair Tom Allen, I'm saying chairs, Trustees Susan, you're all chairs for a day. Trustee Suzanne Hoban, Trustee Mary Beth Siddons, Trustee Elizabeth Spiros, and student trustee and your fellow graduate, Stephanie Elliott. We're also joined, go ahead and give them a hand. We're also joined on the stage by Dr. Chris Gray, Vice President of Academic Affairs and Workforce Development, and Dr. Talia Karankowicz, Vice President of Student Affairs. Thank you. Graduates, you know as well as I do that so many people at MCC have contributed to your accomplishments. Will you take a moment with me and thank the entire MCC faculty and staff and administration for their inspiration and service to you? Thank you. Thank you. We'll be here when you come back to tell us about how the next is going, right? We want to hear about how well we prepared you for your first year at Illinois, ISU, University of Chicago, Northern, Northwestern, Loyola, DePaul. We want to see pictures of your kids or your partners. We want to give you a reference or maybe even some free and cheap advice, okay? So don't be strangers. It's an honor and a joy now to introduce our alumni speaker this morning, John Kane. Mr. Kane is the chairman and CEO of Scotch Forge, the industry leader in open and rolled ring forging, shipping 250 million pounds of pounded steel annually. Let that sink in. Scott Forge is proud to be 100% employee-owned. That pride usually blinding the rest of us regularly through their display of various colorful plaid clothing items. They truly wear their pride on their sleeves. And John, we did search to find a plaid gown and cap, but we just couldn't find it, so we apologize. Last year, the company celebrated 125 years of forging excellence, from starting out as a small hammer shop to now shipping parts worldwide to aerospace, defense, education and research, mining and shipbuilding. And all of those accolades would be enough to help you understand why we're so thrilled to have Mr. Kane here this morning. But my joy in having him and having you get to hear from him is simply because he's one of us. Students, he's one of us, and by that I mean he's one of you. He graduated from MCC and did it the hard way. Like so many of you, bit by bit, working all the time, nights and weekends, raising a family while doing it. He knows your journey. And when I say John is one of us, I'm also speaking to college and community members out there. He's one of us. He believes that the strength of our community rests in how we create opportunities for community members to find meaningful careers here, find good jobs here, raise their families here, stay here in McHenry County. I've been on conference calls with John when we've gathered manufacturing leaders to discuss new strategies for attracting, training, and retaining talent to work in McHenry County. And I've sensed the immense respect John enjoys from his peers. And it is probably because he's always speaking from the context of helping everyone, all companies, with any idea or initiative, not just Scott Forge. He's working on behalf of the whole of local manufacturing, large and small, and therein he's working on behalf of McHenry County. I'm grateful to call John a friend of mine, but really it's way more important in the life and hope of our community to call John a friend of McHenry County College. So John, thank you for being here this morning, and we thank you for your friendship.
Trying to be helpful to Dr. Gabbard, I tried to do my best to bring my own today in the colors of the college. But first, I'd like to tell you what an honor it is to be here with all of you. And as you look around the room, you can appreciate the diversity that a community college brings. It's just amazing, just waiting in the foyer area, hearing the families talk about the stories and the different journeys of all those people in the room. It's just impressive as heck. There's 17-year-olds and people in their 60s graduating today. I don't know if there's a better example of what the community and the diversity of community college brings for access to that type of education. And I'd like to thank the school for giving me the honor to do this. I'd like to thank the trustees for the great job they do in leading this college. I'd like to thank you, the faculty and the administration. You're wonderful stewards of our community. I'd like to thank the graduates and their family for giving me their attention for a few minutes this morning. And as I look upon this group, certainly in the challenge of trying to figure out what can I possibly say to such a great group collected this morning of lifelong learners, and the humility of all that really is that you should be up here telling me how you did it. I could learn a lot more from you this morning than you could from me. But the agenda says otherwise, so what I'll try to do in the next few minutes is share with you some things that might be helpful, and I'm going to begin by not giving you any advice that comes from anything I've ever done. I don't think that would be very helpful, and the reality is you're all on your own journey. You'll experience things that I haven't. You all have different things that you're pursuing in life. You'll have different challenges and different opportunities. And quite frankly, that's where I feel sometimes commencement speeches can let people down, is when somebody who's achieved some success in life gets up here and tries to give you some advice that sounds like, be authentic, be yourself, follow your purpose, don't take no for an answer, those types of things. And it's almost as if someone who's already been successful in life gives you that bumper sticker life advice. It almost sets it up as if you follow it, you will be the envy of all and have the riches beyond your dreams. And it just doesn't seem to work that way. It's almost like Taylor Swift saying, follow your dreams, or a lottery winner saying, liquidate your assets, buy Powerball tickets, and you too will be rich. I just don't think that provides much of a roadmap for you starting tomorrow. So instead, what I thought I would do is try to share with you the things that I've learned from the blessings I've had of interacting with many, many successful people over my career. And just to give you a feeling of what I tried to look for and learn from them were the traits that made them successful. So the group of people I've been blessed to interact with, and I'll just read you a short list, are presidents of not only our country but other countries, CEOs of Fortune 500, senators, ambassadors, congressmen, military leaders, NASA rocket engineers, clergy, community organizers, governors, coaches, successful marriages, entrepreneurs, inventors, coworkers, writers, artists, volunteers, teachers, podcasters. The point I'm making here is not to impress you with their station in life, but I want you to listen to their story of how they got it. Because the reason I chose these examples for you are these are people who chose to do good and be good before they worried about success monetarily or otherwise. So starting their story, probably the most important thing to begin with would be there's a book written called The Road to Character by David Brooks. It's amazing, recommended. I think everyone in the room would enjoy it. But one of the points he makes in the book is there's these resume virtues and eulogy virtues. And the difference is the resume virtues mean you're trying to grow your wealth, your position in the world, you're really out to impress the world. And the eulogy virtues are the things that people will say at your funeral. Now, granted, it's for many in the room far too early to worry about that part. The point, though, that he makes is you can do both, and you should pursue both, the resume virtues and the eulogy virtues. So what I would like to do is start to read to you. I made a list, and I apologize. I'm going to read more of it than look you in the eye as I'm doing it, more because I just want to make sure I covered what I brought to bring. But I think the important part is these folks don't tell their story about how great they are and how impressive their journey has been. They tell their story more in the lessons they learned from career failures, heartbreaks, losses of people they loved, the bad situations when you try to be the smartest person in the room and the room does the meanest thing they can do, which is let you think so, and all the things that they took from those lessons that helped shape who they are today. So the first one I'd like to share with you is they all seem to seek to understand before seeking to be understood. So this really means you don't form an opinion before you even start a conversation, and you'll be surprised how much more you learn when you're the one trying to hear why somebody feels the way they do, as opposed to in making sure they understand your view of things. And this kind of goes hand in hand with assuming good intentions. It's easily said, hard to do. Most people form an opinion pretty quickly. There's this thing called attribution theory, which says you attribute somebody's behavior to something you believe is their motivation or their intent. Research shows, and this means all of us, 70% of the time we are wrong about what their intentions and motivations are. That's enough to give us some pause. The next one I'd like to talk about is trust. And these folks that I'm referring to, know that trust is the glue to everything and takes a very long time. You have to be trustworthy over a long period of time before anybody's going to really believe that's a trait you possess. That begins with honesty, and honesty begins with being honest with yourself more than anything. Because we can all fall prey to telling ourselves those little lies, and then it's a slippery slope. The next thing you know, we're telling a few bigger lies, and before you know it, there's a lot of holes in what we're talking about with the other people. And what's interesting to me is the people that I've learned from never seem to try to rationalize their behavior because of the inconsiderate behavior of another person. In other words, if somebody makes an inconceivable choice, they don't feel it's their right to do it. It's kind of like that saying in the Bible, we all seem to be able to see the speck in our neighbor's eye through the log in our own. These folks always seem to be able to see the log in their own first. The next thing is forgiveness. Try to do it constantly. Make it a habit. You get mad, forgive. You get frustrated with somebody, forgive. The burden of carrying resentment around isn't worth it. It takes too much time and energy and detracts you from the other things you need to do. And this applies to forgiving yourself too. We always wish we might have done something a little different. Learn from it, let it go, and move on. These folks also seem to be very good at managing their money and their income, which started with them being good savers. What's interesting is today, for a lot of the people who are in your 20s and 30s, time is your friend. Start saving, even if it's a little bit every day. You'll be surprised what time will do in compounding that value over and over for you. And before you know it, you'll have a nice little nest egg, and that'll give you the security to do other things later in life. And by the way, you being in this room proves you're already smart enough to be doing that, because by coming to MCC, you saved over 60% to a state school tuition and over 90% to a private school. Well done, well done. These folks also seem to accept there's really no such thing as work-life balance. Life just sets a lot of different priorities for a lot of different people. I worry when I hear people talk about it, especially young people, because I'm not sure it sets up the right frame of mind. I was just on a flight here this week, and my seatmate was a wonderful young lady, trained attorney, and she was flying to see some clients, and she was sharing with me that she had just recently become a new mom and was off work for 4 months on maternity leave. And while she was gone, her coworker, another woman, had taken on some tough projects and working shorthanded, did very well with them and got promoted while she was off on maternity leave. And she was upset that when she returned to work, that she didn't get placed in that same level since that's how she had left. So equal outcomes are a wonderful ideal. They happen exactly no place, though. When you really think about work-life balance, I encourage you to think more about time management. And if you're thinking about time management, Stephen Covey is the person I always turn to. Got a great book called First Things First. He's got this kind of neat idea about this jar. If you could picture a mason jar. And there's big rocks, medium-sized rocks, small rocks, sand, and water. And the idea is the most important things in your life are the big rocks. Put those in the jar first. If you put the water in first, it fills up and you don't have time for the big stuff. But if you put the big rocks in first, then the small ones, then the pebbles, then the sand and water, you fill in all those voids. And the idea is that you will be able to fit a lot more in and squeeze out the less productive stuff. And what I like about that, two things are, it gives you that understanding you could do a lot more with the time you have. And the other thing is the jar is finite. You can only fit so many things in. The young lady who was my seatmate decided the big rock was going to be starting a family. The other girl decided her big rock was she was going to hammer down the gas pedal on her career. Different outcomes. With 7 billion people in the world using their free will to put which big rocks in the jar they believe they want to have in there, there's going to be unequal outcomes. Be okay with that. And if you're the recipient, the beneficiary of an unequal outcome, be humble about it and try to help other people. If you're the recipient of things that you don't think is so fair, take it in stride, try to find some humor around it, try to turn it into a lesson. There's always one in there. Which brings me to gratitude. Gratitude should be something you practice all the time. And I was out on a motorcycle trip, and I was going across an Indian reservation out in New Mexico to go back into a canyon to do some hiking. And it's a desolate reservation, nothing around, no job opportunities, no good prospects. And in kind of dug out in the side of the mountain is this little building, which was their diabetic clinic. And as I rode by, I looked at their sign, and the sign said, "Start every day with gratitude." And I thought, heck, if they can do it, I need to start practicing that too. I took a picture of it and look at it on my phone all the time. The other thing these folks really seem to have is this craving for feedback. It was interesting, I was just reading recently, Elon Musk said, "I think it's very important to have a feedback loop. I think that's the single best piece of advice. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better and keep questioning yourself." And what I would add to that is don't seek feedback from people who think you're already awesome. Try to find people who will give you another perspective as well. We work with a gentleman from Manager Tools called Mark Horstman's his name, and he has this thing, there is no why in feedback. So when you ask for feedback and somebody says something to you that maybe you don't agree with, don't say, "Well, let me tell you why I do it that way." I promise you, you won't ever get honest feedback again. And it may show that your heart's a little hardened to receiving that kind of input. And you believe me, we all feel that way. Thomas Friedman has this example of criticism where he says there's two kinds. The first kind is where somebody really hopes it stings a little bit and you'll shut it out. The other kind is they really want you to be better because of it and you'll listen to it all day. So if anybody asks you for feedback, try to do that second kind. Give it in a supportive way. And if somebody offers you feedback that you think's going to sting a little bit, don't worry about their intentions behind it. Let it in. The more you do that, the easier it'll get, I promise you. Achievement is not the same as accomplishment. People who want titles and recognition more than enjoying the process of doing the work seem to get disappointed, and they sure seem to job hop a bunch. Which brings me to one of their traits, the great equalizer, work ethic. It doesn't matter what school you went to, how wealthy your parents are, how well connected they are, how well connected you are. The difference with all these folks is they started with all the same disadvantages or advantages, depending how you look at it, that most people do, but they applied themselves. And it's amazing what that work ethic can create. And believe me, these things I'm talking about are going to take hard work. These eulogy virtues are probably harder to work on than the resume virtues. And the final one I brought to share with you that's really the most consistent trait, I would say, amongst all these successful people I've been blessed to meet, is they made their lives about helping others succeed, helping others get promoted, helping others grow and learn, and they did it through their own success. So they made their success a leverage point for many other people. Viktor Frankl in Man's Search for Meaning says, "Don't aim at success. The more you aim at it and make it a target, the more you're going to miss it. For success, like happiness, cannot be pursued, it must be ensued. It only does so as the unintended side effect of one's personal dedication to a cause greater than oneself, or as the byproduct of one's surrender to a person other than oneself." So what I've noticed about these folks is they they feel like they're pouring themselves out for other people, emptying themselves out for other people. And that can be exhausting. But they understand that the person is the message. It's their example that they set that helps the other people succeed. And if you get it right, it's the opposite of feeling exhausted. So when you're feeling a little bit fatigued, you might have it just about right. It reminds me of a poem John Wooden recites that he adopted when he was a high school teacher. And the poem says, "No written word, no spoken plea can teach our youth what they should be. No all the books on all the shelves, it's what the teachers are themselves." So as a high school teacher and basketball coach, living that poem, he went on to be the winningest coach in NCAA history. So rest assured, roam the earth long enough, and the Arc of Life will present these lessons that I've shared with you over and over. You don't have to remember any of these words this morning. Just find good examples in this room, in your life, and many are in this room and up on this stage. And as the saying goes, your happiness is the average of the 5 people closest to you. So if your happiness isn't quite where you want it, ask yourself, what can you do to change that equation? While doing so, keep in mind, and I love this, everything the Japanese customers we have taught me this. Their philosophy is everything is imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete. So that's us included, and everyone else we share the planet with. Find a little joy in your imperfections and everyone else's too. My father used to say, when you think the world's against you and you're feeling life hasn't been fair, take a look in the mirror. That's the person who's responsible. He said, think of the world as a mirror. It only reflects back to you what you present to it. As Viktor Frankl says, when we no longer are able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. You will find that in your lives over and over and over, I promise. Another neat thing is we're relationship creatures. We only know ourselves through the eyes of others. And when I look out into this room through my eyes, and whenever I spend time with people like you, my optimism about the future goes up like a rocket. You guys are more prepared than any generation ever to go out and do what this world needs to do. And we know you'll be good stewards of that because you have good hearts and an open mind, and you've already proven you're willing to do the hard work. One of the things that is interesting is I was preparing for this and I interviewed a whole lot of people in your demographic. What they said is we feel tons of pressure to decide what's going to happen in the rest of our lives today, and we're just not prepared. Don't worry. All these people I brought the examples of this morning had no idea where life would take them. The serendipity of that is amazing. Don't worry about it. Really, what I just want you to appreciate, it's more in how you live your life. If you live those lives thinking of your eulogy and your resume, you'll be doing just fine. And if you do that, you'll get the joy of feeling that improvement from the 1.0 version of yourself to the 2.0 version of yourself to the 3.0 version of yourself, and you will find a very fulfilling path that way. So I was traveling recently and with some military personnel, and one of the recruits had a shirt on that said, "Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better." And I thought, if you ever want some bite-sized bumper sticker life advice, that might be the one you want to adopt. But thank you so much for your time and attention. We're so proud of all of you, and I can't thank you enough for letting me share this time with you this morning. Thank you very much.
We would now like to introduce our student speaker, student trustee Stephanie Elliott.
Good morning and congratulations, graduates. My name is Stephanie Elliott. As student trustee of McHenry County College, I have the pleasure of introducing your commencement honoree, Ramiro Angelino. In my opinion, Ramiro has shown at MCC exactly what it means to be a leader. He has taken every opportunity and has achieved incredible success at this college, especially in his time as student body president. You will hear him talk about his experience at MCC and how this college has given every student, no matter what their background is, the chance to succeed. Knowing Ramiro's passion, perseverance, and outstanding leadership, I know he will go on to accomplish even greater things. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to McHenry County College's Spring 2019 Commencement Speaker, Ramiro Angelino.
All right, that's working. Good morning. Welcome, parents. Bienvenidos, amigos, familia. Distinguished faculty. I know you'd rather have the Saturday off. And of course, the graduating class of 2019. Thank you all so much for being here to celebrate this momentous occasion, commencement. So let us commence. Many young McHenry County teenagers don't always dream of starting their lives at MCC. Some even worry about what their friends may think because they are just going to community college. We aren't a big party school. We don't have a famous football team. And we sure don't cost 30 grand a year. But I'm here to tell you that what we do have is pretty amazing. I'm not afraid to admit that some of the negative stuff crossed my mind when I first walked through the doors of MCC. As a first-generation college student, this was truly my only option, and I felt lucky to have it. I felt like a fish out of water, thrown into an ocean of students, performing with ease, and wondering why it was so hard for me to navigate. Soon, I found there were campus resources everywhere. A state-of-the-art tutoring center, modules to help with financial aid, student success coaches, faculty, and staff that were truly there to help you, and that really amazing science building that was just erected last year. Because of them, before long, I was swimming through the halls of MCC like a big fish, signing up for classes on my own, joining student organizations, and working really hard on my GPA. I was proud to be from MCC and proud of the experience and education I was getting. But there's something I'm even more proud when I think of my time at MCC. This place is not just another community college. These buildings are where those looking to be the first in their family to dive into higher education and be granted the gift of enlightenment. It is for those adult students who are returning back after their industry collapses, or maybe even their life does. MCC is for those who have honorably served our country and looking for a path for their dreams. For the special needs and the marginalized that will get a leg up with technical prowess or an associate's degree. MCC is a place where we all come together from all walks of life to create a better community and future for ourselves. It's where we are motivated and inspired to grow into the best version of ourselves. And even if this place wasn't what we always thought of as kids dreaming about college, it is a place where we finally believe that our dreams could come true. So thank you, MCC. And to all my graduating compadres, it's been a heck of a ride. I'm glad I did it with you. Now go put those dreams into motion. Thank you.
Finally believe those dreams can come true. I want to tell you about this kid, Ramiro. I met him 2 years ago. This little mousy guy walked through the hallways. He was really shy. He didn't know what questions to ask. He didn't know to ask him to. And now look at this guy. This is what MCC is about. Congratulations. Stay here still. Ramiro, I fully expect 20 or 30 years from now, when there's a little gray in that hair and a little gray in the beard, that you're sitting right there in that chair, and you're coming back and sharing your story with the plaid. John wants you. You want him. I'm telling you. If you've ever wanted to know why you're faculty, when you hear all those other students whine and complain about all the extra work and it's too hard and can we turn in late, and I don't understand this concept. If you want to know why we do what we do, it's stories like this, and he is just a representative of all those stories out there. So thank you very much. So now I'll get back on script, and I apologize. I'm Chris Gray. I've got a plaque for you. I'm the Vice President of Academic Affairs and Workforce Development here, and it's my honor to present Ramiro with a special plaque. Plaque with his name on it has been added, and it will also be added to the MCC Student Services area. Thank you, Ramiro, for sharing your stories, and thank you for all you've done to lead the students, and congratulations on as you continue your journey with that newfound confidence. Here's a box for you. I absolutely love hearing the student stories, both old and new student stories. So, at this time, I'd like to highlight the various student honors and designations. Those wearing gold or white cords are students completing 2-year degrees with honors. The white cord is worn by students who have achieved a grade point average of 3.50 to 3.74. Students wearing the gold honor cord have achieved a grade point average of 3.75 or higher. Will the students graduating with honors or high honors please stand? Phi Theta Kappa members wear gold honor stoles displaying its Greek letters. These are 2-year degree recipients who have maintained a 3.5 or higher grade point average and have been active members of MCC's award-winning this year Chi Upsilon chapter. Will the PTK graduates please stand? Psi Beta is a National Honor Society for students at 2-year colleges with an interest in psychology, a GPA above 3.4, and who demonstrate excellence in scholarship, leadership, research, and community service. Psi Beta members wear a gold honor stole with the Greek letters. Will Psi Beta graduates please stand? Those students wearing the peach cord are members of the Alpha Delta Nu Nurses Honor Society. Will these graduates please stand? Are you wearing a different color than what I have? I know we have some. I saw 2 inducted today. All right, congratulations. I was at the nurses' pinning ceremony, and I saw 2 inducted today, so I know they're there, so I'm going to give it up for them anyhow. The National Technical Honor Society has been honoring career and technical education students for over 30 years. Students graduating with the NTHS honor have achieved a 3.0 grade point average or higher and maintain the highest standard of personal and professional conduct. NTHS members wear a white stole. Will these graduates please stand? Purple. Purple stole. Those students who have served in the military, as indicated by the red, white, and blue cord, are being recognized for their service to our country and to our community. Americana Cord recipients, please stand. Finally, the Silver Cord Award is given to students who complete at least 100 hours of community service or volunteerism while attending MCC. Silver Cord Award recipients, please stand. Will all of the candidates for degrees and certificates please rise? President Gabbard, members of the Board of Trustees, on behalf of the McHenry County College faculty, staff, and administration, I present the spring class of 2019.
On behalf of McHenry County College and by the power vested in me by the state of Illinois, through the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon the members of the graduating class of 2019 the individual degrees and certificates for which they have been recommended and duly certified. Congratulations. Please be seated. And now those in the first row, please stand.
These are candidates for the AAS in accounting. Melanie Archivado Gardner. Candidates for the AAS in administrative office management. Erica Gumasindo. Denise Nielsen. Patricia Valdivia. Otilio Hernandez Gonzalez. Candidates for the AAS in business management. Grant Holm. Austin Michael Staus. Samantha Pereño. Crystal Katner. Diane Pileo. Kenyate Goitin. Candidates for the AAS in construction management. Daniel Hedman. Candidates for the AAS in digital media. Christian Anthony Pichota. Brandon Jensen. Candidates for the AAS in early childhood education. Jennifer Schmidt. Catherine Yohe. Emily Erdman. Melissa Eliana Mioto. Jessica Rose Mossman. Kellen Brink. Brianna Sheldon. Candidates for the AAS in fire science. Austin Allen Leggett. Candidates for the AAS in graphic arts. Myrie Kate Thompson. Jared Reed Blank. Gabrielle Miller. Caitlin Patricia Melling. Candidates for the AAS in Health and Fitness Education, Catherine Danzig. Candidates for the AAS in Health Information Technology, Reynaldo Kurabin. Ashley Hill. Cindy Soltis. Keon Jenkins. Charles Lance Johnson. Jordan Johnson. Candidates for the AAS in Help Desk Technician, Jason Mendez. Candidates for the AAS in Horticulture, Jason Rolnicki, Lauren Steiger, Erica Tavitas, David Fisher, candidates for the AAS in Manufacturing Management, Austin Ludke, candidates for the AAS in Marketing, Ben Michael Paulik, candidates for the AAS in Mobile Design and Development, Eric McCracken, Emily Shea Rainier, Aaron Dewar, candidates for the AAS in Network Security, Pedro Jimenez, Troy Philwett. How am I doing? Candidates for the AAS in Paralegal Studies, Jonathan Nelson Repke, Honey Kaludis, candidates for the AAS in Registered Nursing, Isabel Hernandez Luna, Stephanie Lauren Wallace, Samantha Grazer, Dawn Chisamore, Jennifer Lane, Kelsey Phelps, Elizabeth Michelle Johnson, Jennifer Royal, DDA Kamla, Kayla Marie Vauk, Raquel Liebach, Jennifer Myrie Nelson, Grace Schacht,
The following is for the Associate in Arts. James Joseph Dalton. Osiel Alfredo Mahia. Danielle Raimundo Carballo. Ariel Conchetta Samando. Ethan Sherman. Sabrina Ball. Craig Joseph McKenna. Roy Umaya. Colton Michael Turk. Jessica Marie Pape. Emmeline Rose Bateman. Joseph Harvey. Joshua Golubski. Patrick Bussey. Ana Perez. Louis Arredondo. Ramiro and Angelino.
Alexander Deladoy. He doesn't have his card.
Alexander Deladoy. Stephanie Elliott. Adriana Perez. Ryan John Kengott. Kendrick Hodges. Dane Glavs. Lexibet Torres. Lily Tula Kriaitis. John Tanner Peterson. Larry Jean Eisler III. Robert Burkoff. Wait until we read your name. Farwa Khan. Margaret Catherine Cronin. Okay. Abigail Marazano. Emily Mae Atchison. Haley Baker. To me. To me. To me.
Oh, you're supposed to have this. Associates.
Associates in Arts starts now. Will Pavlin. Which name? Natalia Trinity Osario. Brianna Salgado. Joseph Edward Coombs. Angela Schaefer. Teresa Claire Fisher. Rachel Lynn McReynolds. Jody Marie Doan. Wilmer Partita. Veronica Grover. Nicole Marie Learnman. Julia Bussa. Melissa Marabella Castaneda. Jarrett Natrope. Samantha Lawrence. Rachel Marzacco. Yesenia Flores. Karina Lopez. Angela Rose Martin. Amanda Michelle McGarry. Susanna Kemmerling. Jacqueline Trejo. Gianna Malazzo. Trevor Eric Johnson. Natalie Rodriguez. Sarah Nicole Meyer. Kayla Lynn Worth. Mark Robert Kusera. Jack Connor Sikowski. Ruben LaFontaine. Amanda Nell Lepka. Carolyn Ryder. Caden Fosnow. Nadia Ann Meridia. Nicole Ann Jackson. Alisa Diaz. Nicholas Sherman. Stephanie Renee Fleeby. Abigail Vidales. Elizabeth Skalecki. Araceli Jimenez. Rosa Mercado. Ariana Eve Waksick. Addison John Zank. Susan Michelle Boaschio. Nicholas David Zahner. The next candidates are for the Associate in Engineering Science. Joshua Powell. Luke Cessna. Tyler James Harth. The next candidates are for an Associate in General Education. Ernest Hagenow Jr. Ashley Dawn Emmerich. Neelay Patel. Sarah Howell. The next candidates are for an Associate in Science. Justin Christopher Kucharski. Nisa Stell. Michaela Ann Persuti. Annalise Nova Carbajo. Bridget Lang. Megan Lang. Nathaniel Miles Dvorak. Frank Alex Molnar. Lindsay K. Chinlund. Alicia Duran. Sydney Lynn Rowe. Linda Fagiano. Myra Cortez Sanchez. Savannah Cody Held. Hugo Augusto. Diana Meridew. Michaela Jean Evans. Stephanie Kolanko. Rebecca Wise. Julius Renoa. The following candidates are for Advanced Manufacturing Certificate. Paul Richard Jones. Animation Certificate. Eric Rachek. Kevin Donald Perrin. Baking and pastry assistant, Morgan Emily McKee. Business management principal certificate, Tamara Schneider. Cybersecurity certificate, John Byer Boos. High school equivalency, Jorge Cabrera. Alexander Mapez. Brianna Rush. Christina Fruend. Marisol Perez. Jonathan Fishman. Rocio Cabanas. Addie Sanchez. Alma Arenas. Pilar Arias. Maria Hernandez. Juan Mercado. Marco Gonzalez.
Please join me in congratulating all of our graduates. At this time, it is my pleasure to present Illinois Community College Trustees Association 2019 Outstanding Full-Time Faculty Member of the Year Award to Ms. Sarah Ruthven, Instructor of Art History and Art Appreciation. Sarah has been instructor at MCC since 2007. In her classroom, she models professionalism to students. In fact, they regularly reflect on her high levels of enthusiasm and quick response to concerns and questions. Her pedagogical practice is carefully thought out to reflect upon learning and teaching experience, keeping content critical and meaningful. She has also been an active participant and leader in several MCC initiatives, including Rebuilding MCC 101, the e-portfolio process, and the open educational resources, or for those of you parents out there who are footing the bill, she's been an instrumental leader in reducing textbook costs for our students. Yes. Ms. Ruffin is an exceptional teacher, leader, and mentor, and is truly deserving of the 2019 ICCTA Outstanding Full-Time Faculty Member Award medallion, which she wears around her neck. Please help me congratulate her on this honor.
Thank you. Class of 2019, on behalf of all the faculty, congratulations on this major achievement. Contemporary Korean artist Do Ho-sa sculpture entitled Cause and Effect is a large installation of tiny human figures like toy soldiers, each one standing on the shoulders of the next, forming a floor-to-ceiling tornado of stacked figures. Your time at MCC has been spent climbing up, achieving your goals, straining and reaching and building skills. Each step you took toward your goals, there were people there offering you their shoulder, hoisting you up so you can reach your next goal. Here you are today, the class of 2019, propped up on the shoulders of loving friends and family, carrying MCC staff and administration, and the faculty who challenged you and pushed you to keep climbing. You are a force of nature ready to move forward into higher education, into the community, and into the world. It can be tough to keep your balance, way up there on the shoulders of so many. We prepared you for this moment. And now our charge to you is to move forward, continue learning, be present in our community, and offer your shoulder for the next group climbing up behind you. At this time, I invite the graduates and faculty to stand. Faculty, please join me in expressing our congratulations, our gratitude, and our commendations to our newest graduates. This is the part that makes earning the award totally worth it. McHenry County College graduates, you may now switch your tassels.
Thank you all for participating in this celebration of our spring 2019 graduates and their accomplishments at McHenry County College. Graduates, one more little task. We've saved our deepest gratitude and our most boisterous applause for the people who have stood beside you during this educational journey with support, encouragement, money, love, money. Let us show our appreciation for all of your family and friends and loved ones right now. Thank you. To all our guests, please remain seated until our faculty, staff, and graduates have exited. MCC graduates, take time today to remind yourself that you've done some really good things. Enjoy the rest of your day.